my right honourable friend agree with me that this is not what Leave voters voted for? Leave voters and businesses in Broxtowe were promised a deal on trade, not after we've left the European Union, but at the time that we leave the European Union. They were told it would be the easiest deal in the history of trade deals. They were told it would convey the exact same benefits as our membership of the single market and the customs union. What we now see is complete chaos and a total mess. Would the Prime Minister consider that if her government can't get a grip on this, if Parliament can't get a grip on this, then it's time to face up to the fact that Brexit cannot be delivered, take it back to the people and have a people's vote?
The people were given a vote. The people's vote happened in 2016 and the people voted to leave.
Mr. Speaker, it must be obvious to the Prime Minister that there's no majority in this place for a hard or no deal, a Brexit, and she can't do the sensible thing on customs union and single market because half her party in the DUP won't let her. So is she never tempted by the suggestion of her honourable friend, the member for Broxtowe, that the way out of this mess for her and for the country will be a people's vote?
No.
The Prime Minister's problem that she's dancing to the tune of the hard Brexiteers, the duo from Uxbridge and Somerset, and that we shouldn't therefore be surprised that she's taking the country towards an inferior, low-grade, hard Brexit FTA deal. Will she give an undertaking that when this House, when members of Parliament look at that deal and decide actually it isn't right for the country, and that if we decide a different course, she will respect the decision of members of Parliament to put this question to a people's vote?
The Prime Minister has chastised Labour's 6 tests. Let's look at the one that she has set, which is that frictionless trade must be the condition for signing up to the withdrawal agreement. 2.5 years on, all the whiz-bang technology that you like and a temporary customs arrangement later shows that only staying in the customs union can do that. So in meeting her own test, the same challenge the Prime Minister will face that she faces now, is it friction with the ERG or the future of the people of Northern Ireland that matters more? Because her refusal to let the British public sort this out through a final say deal shows it's not the country.
Can I say to the Honourable Lady, as I have said to others, the British people made their decision on us leaving the European Union.
The Prime Minister accept that the best interests of the country are not served by a gaggle of self-serving cabinet ministers threatening to resign, but they would be by allowing the people a vote in a people's vote.
We had a people's vote. It was called the referendum and the people voted to leave.
Here's some Brexit reality. AstraZeneca have just announced this afternoon that they're stopping investing in the United Kingdom. We're just 165 days to go until we leave the European Union. And we still have no deal, with disastrous consequences. The Prime Minister says that we can't have a people's vote, but isn't the truth here that the people weren't able to see, there is no consensus about which of the many versions of Brexit that we will be heading down? Once we know that final deal, wouldn't it be reasonable to go back to the British people, present them with what's involved, what the consequences are, both positive and negative, and then allow them to give their informed consent to moving forward?
Despite her protestations, it's becoming increasingly clear that the Prime Minister is unable to hold her party together, let alone the country. And there is no doubt about it. I know that my constituents did not vote to become poorer, and that is what will happen if she proceeds along this route. Will the Prime Minister do the right thing and give the people the final say on the deal?
I refer the Honourable Lady to the answer I have given previously.
Mr. Speaker, in 2015, David Cameron was elected on a promise of a referendum on the EU, but promised to stay in the single market. Given that the current Prime Minister has decided to break that latter promise, and given the other promises that have been broken since 2016, not those written on, at least those written on red buses, doesn't she agree that this mandate about the single market and the customs union fundamentally undermines the integrity of Britain and Northern Ireland, and this should ultimately resolve not by a simple choice between a bad deal and a no deal, but at the option of remaining in the EU through a people's vote of the people so they can look again?